Hello students, I'm Imani Sharma, your UGC NET educator. In this new YouTube video, we are going to move forward with the UGC NET concept series that we have, and as we were proceeding with the Indian dramatists which are there, we are going to talk about none other than Vijay Tendulkar, who has been an important dramatist if we talk about the realm of Indian theatre, and not just about the realm of Indian theatre but from the NET perspective as well. We have seen that how his plays have been translated from Marathi to other languages as well, and of course even if we are talking about the staging of some plays of his, they are staged in different languages as well, so that they can reach out to the masses, they can reach out to the audiences. So first of all, as usual, this is an image of Vijay Tendulkar, and he was born in the year 1928 in Mumbai, and he passed away in the year 2008 in Pune, Maharashtra. Correct? So the themes that he basically deals with in his plays are none other than, we see the family, so familial and marital relationships. We also see the themes of how he deals with the themes of sexuality. Correct? There are other prominent themes which we are going to deal with as we are going to move forward with the overview of certain works of his, certain plays of his, and we are going to move and proceed with the overview of those very plays. Now, first of all, renowned Indian playwright, screenwriter and a social commentator. So he had been a person who was not just writing plays, he was a person who was a screenwriter. So he was writing scripts as well, he was a commentator as well. Born, as I told you, 1928 in Kolhapur, Maharashtra, India. Then he is known for his provocative and powerful plays that deal with such themes which are really taboo in nature and which we really cannot expect from we can expect, of course, being the students of English literature, because we need to be aware of each and everything, but which are rarely accepted by the conservative Indian society, the themes which we cannot see properly, which have been considered a taboo. Correct? Challenged social norms and exposed the dark realities of the Indian society, dark realities, and of course here again we see the theme of realism peeping in, and of course his works explored themes such as gender, sexuality, caste and the power dynamics which play an important role when we talk about the relationships, be it a relationship which is familial, be it a relationship which is marital, how they are produced there in the staging of the play as well, and how these themes are basically dealt with in there. So certain notable works of his are Shantata, court chalu aahe, silence, the court is in session, which when translated into English, Ghanshiram Kotwal, then we have Sakharam Binder, then we have Kanyadan, out of which we are going to deal with these three plays. The fourth one, as the name suggests, deals with the theme of marriage, deals with the theme of how the marital relationships, how they have some kind of equilibrium that is supposed to be maintained, and Kanyadan, how metaphorically and literally that has been there in the play. Moving forward, first play of note we are going to talk about is Shantata, court chalu aahe. Right? Translates to silence, the court is in session, examines the hypocrisy and moral judgments which the society has, right? And especially when it comes to the women's forefront. Depicts the mock trial where personal vendettas and biases have such kind of precedence over justice. So there are a couple of people who are going to perform a play, yeah, right? So of course they are doing a mock trial there because one person is randomly chosen. So just to present him how a trial is going to happen, they present a mock trial in there where we see certain dark realities coming at the surface level. Raises questions about the power dynamics which are there, the societal norms which are associated, and the role of the individuals in perpetuating injustice, especially as I told you in the case of women basically, correct? It revolves around a group of amateur actors who gather to rehearse a play, Sakharam Binder, etc. So basically we see that a group of actors are going to produce, they are going to play they play a part in some kind of play, and of course we see how they deal with it. They produce a mock trial, they enact a mock trial, and how they move forward in there. So this is the image. The play tells the story of a group of people planning on staging a play in a small village. So we see, as I already told you, amateur actors are there, and we see a female. We see a female here. There, the name of the female is Mrs. Benare. So when we see her, she is one such actor in here who is victimized later on, who has been put on the charges on, correct? So in order for him, the actors in the cast, one of the actors in the cast does not turn up for rehearsal, a local man steps into. So a random man is chosen, and then these people perform a trial in front of him, correct? So that he can bring the authenticity to the role. So they perform a trial, they decide to stage a mock trial. Unfortunately, this unearths some secrets. What are those secrets? That this woman, Mrs. Benares, she is pregnant with a child of a professor with whom she has ended her relationship. So basically these harsh realities, that how they come onto the level, how they come onto the surface. Even if they were trying to practice a mock trial in here, still they were so and so curious to know about what was happening in Mrs. Benares' life. Then we have Gashiram Kotwal, historical setting is there, right? Based on historical events at the times of the Maharashtrian Peshwas. There we also used to have Nana. So the characters here, if we are talking about the main character, the protagonist of the play is Gashiram only, who is a Kotwal, correct? Who is the city police officer, basically the head. Abuse of power is a theme in here, corruption, moral degradation of the society, and of course how they deal with the women instance. We see in the play there is a character titled or named Gashiram, who is a low caste man who rises to power and becomes a ruthless oppressor. So he has come from a village, basically from a small village, and when he comes here to live in the place that he is there, so basically he talks to the Nana of that very place. So during the Maharashtrian times, how he is a Kannauj Brahmin, he used to live there, and then he moved forward to some other area, and there he met Nana, and Nana is such kind of person who is a womanizer. Correct? It is not the Peshwa, but the Nana who comes under the Peshwa's rule. So basically, the Nana is the person who appoints this Gashiram as the city police officer, the Kotwal, the constable basically. He appoints, and then how the story revolves around Gashiram punishing people regardless and on small accounts, on small mistakes. So that is why we are talking about when he came in power, how the abuse of power, how the corruption also takes place. And how do you think, will Nana be the one who legit offered this very position so easily to Gashiram? No, he did not. He said that I want your daughter. So Gashiram's daughter's name was Gauri. She was the person who was given to Nana so that the position of a Kotwal could be provided to Gashiram. So Gashiram sent or basically gave away his daughter for such a position, for such a position of power. So we see the treatment of women in here. Critiques the caste system and its impact in here. And then when basically people start bringing complaints to Nana. He is so preoccupied with Gauri and he impregnates her, right? And of course, we see with the moving events there that eventually Ghashi Ram is murdered, correct? He is killed, correct? So the theme we already have talked about in here, which is really seen. Then, through Gashiram's character, Tendulkar explores the consequences of unchecked power and the erosion of morality that he even sold. Or, let's just say he sent away, he gave up his own daughter just for a position of a Kotwal. Pervasive nature of corruption and the ways in which it poisons individuals, that he did not even think of him being a father, but he thought of the position firsthand and how he can then, even if he rises up to that very particular level, reaches to that very particular level, how is he going to use that power? So of course, why do we say that if a person becomes really famous, some of them do not know how to deal with that fame that they have gotten. So of course, the equilibrium, the balance should be maintained when a person comes into power or a person comes or gains fame. The narrative unfolds, the play delves into larger social issues of the caste discrimination and social inequality, and that is why how people, they abuse power. The upper class who perpetuate oppressive systems and exploit the marginalized for their own gain, and when these marginalized question the other people, there is some kind of negative thing also which can be seen if we see the portrayal of Gashiram. Even if he is trying to take revenge from the people of the upper class, the things that he is doing with his daughter for that very part is very wrong. Then we have Sakharam Binder, which was published in the year 1972. Controversial play that challenges the traditional notions of marriage and gender roles. How women are portrayed in here is that Sakharam is a person who brings forward in his place the women who are discarded by their marital roles, discarded by their husbands. So he lives with all those women. Centered around Sakharam, who offers shelter to women who are discarded by the society, discarded by their husbands, etc., discarded by their husbands or the society in that sense that some of their husbands passed away, some of their husbands left them, etc. The power dynamics, sexuality, because dealing with this very particular theme, and the exploitation of women. How in the name of even providing them with a shelter, and how the women are so helpless that yes, they need shelter, they are indulging in physical relationships with this very particular person named Sakharam. Provokes thought on societal norms which are there, personal freedom, the personal choice that a person can make but still cannot, and the consequences of breaking traditional boundaries which are there, and how we see how the women also break the traditional boundaries in here, which are conventionally given and assigned to them by the patriarchal society, correct? He is a Brahmin who hates his upbringing and exists in a society which he loathes. He does not like the society in which he lives. He wants to be away from that very society, and he is a Brahmin per se, but he has no qualms about benefiting from its unfairness. So he thoughts of bringing women who are there, who have been discarded by their husbands, gives them a roof over their heads and 2 saris a year and food in their belly. So just because the women are getting this, they are letting their own selves, to sleep with Sakharam. So how these themes of sexuality are, how it is perpetuated in the society, how it is still prevalent in the society, that has been, this taboo issue has been dealt with in here. In return, they have to perform all the wifely duties, including the physical relationship that they have to maintain with Sakharam, including sharing their bodies, because a wife, of course, if she performs certain tasks which are there, this is the wifely duties that Sakharam is talking about in here, that is traditionally assigned to the woman by the patriarchal society. I am not giving here, and I am not talking about the wifely duties which are there, but of course he is talking about them. So the quotes in here are taken from the play only. He is unapologetic but about his sexual appetites, that how they are never really fulfilled, and is uncontrollably violent during his rages when he gives the women what they deserve. What they deserve is a chanta on their face. This is what he says, that what they deserve sitting in there, that is what he is doing. So he is a person who is really aggressive, who is the person whose sexual appetites are never controlled, they are never fulfilled, so he deals with the women in that sense. Sadly, in a world which is cruel to women, of course, he finds women who are desperate enough to agree to his terms. What kind of terms? To perform all the wifely duties, where he will be providing them with 2 saris, food in their bellies, a roof over their head, and just because of those basic needs, the women share their bodies, the women give away their bodies to this man. Sakharam Binder questions the hypocrisy of the bond of marriage, that how and why do we need marriage in the first place? If anyone basically, so he talks about the bond that comes with the theme or the role of marriage. Correct? Certain truths of intimate relations are never obvious to outsiders. If some people are having intimate relationships apart from their marriages, etc., sometimes they don't even come to the surface. And even here, some things cannot be even coming to the surface if he is just shown as giving or providing shelter to the women. But who knows the realities which are there happening in his house. So, he has been Vijay Tendulkar. We are talking about his contributions and legacy, and how we are going to conclude this lecture is that he has been a prominent dramatist who has brought forth such taboo themes on the forefront, dealing with them in such beautiful manner without even any kind of hesitation. Significant contributions in the plays that we see: pushed boundaries and confronted the societal taboos, initiated dialogues. So, what women, what they deserve, perform the wifely duties. These dialogues have been written by whom? None other than Tendulkar himself. Continue to be performed. His plays are continued to be performed. They are, even in today's time, they are performed, they are studied for the research part and appreciated, just like we are right now appreciating the themes that he is dealing with. Correct? So, now I have questions for you. You are going to match the list 1 where I have the names of the dramatists in here, and list 2 where I have the list of the plays that they have written. So, you can match, you can pause your screens. Here we have the options. The answer to this question is option D. What do we have in D here? A3, B4, right? We just did Ghashiram Kotwal, right? And then we have Garish Karnad, where we have Hayavadna, and Habib Tanveer with the play Agra Bazaar. Then we have the next question. Which of the following plays of Tendulkar has a historical setting? We have done that and covered that very play in here as well. The answer to this question is option C, Ghasiram Kotwal, because it deals with the historical, basically the history or the context here is the history of the Marathas, etc., where we see the Peshwa, where we see the Nana, but how the Nana is corrupted, how he just wants to sleep with women, and how he is a womanizer. So, the corruption, how that also starts there, and how just for the power and the position that Ghashiram wanted, he just sent away, he gave away his daughter to Nana. Then I have another question. Which of the best themes sums up the preoccupation of Tendulkar's plays? What do we see mostly in his plays? How does he deal with things? The answer to this question is option D, and these questions have been asked in the NET examination. So, hence these questions were the PYQs, the previous year questions. I will be moving forward with certain other writers, certain other concepts in another series. Till then, you all keep on studying, keep on smiling. Thank you so much and have a good day.